What's up, guys? It's Gilberto here, and we got Austin here for another episode of the Agency U podcast. Austin, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How's Colombia
New,
today?
new hair, new haircut, new Austin.
New haircut, shaved off 10 years. Let's go.
Straight up, bro.
Wife is not happy, but it'll grow back.
Bro.
I know she doesn't like that. She thinks I look like a kid. She says I'm more grown up than that. So, but people pay a lot of money to look younger, and all I have to do is just pay $50 for a haircut. So that's
For
cool.
real. Yeah, man.
What are we talking about today?
Today is going to be all around what I consider to be just like a new way of operating as an agency, kind of like the next level of scale for a lot of people. And that's pretty much the creative partner model.
Come on.
And this is something that, probably if people follow us, like they probably would have already seen the ads about this, or they've seen like probably like content around like the creative partner model. But yeah, Austin, if you want to just kind of break it down into just kind of simple terms, like what is the creative partner model?
Yeah, I think what happens in the agency space, specifically like with content agencies, is we're glorifying, we're thinking that like having a fancy camera is going to sell more deals, or even like me shooting the videos for the clients is going to be the X factor on my agency succeeding. When in reality, what we need to look at, and what I always like challenge agencies with, is like, if someone came to you just wanting your video strategy, could you be able to sell that? Like, would you be able to sell that? And if the answer is no, then you got to prioritize your strategy, because what a lot of people are doing right now is they're focusing on the deliverables, letting their fancy equipment sell the client, when in reality, it's the outcome that sells the client, which you do such a great job of talking about this, Gilberto, where it's the outcome that sells the client. And what a lot of people fail to realize is that there's more than one way to get to the outcome for the client. And it doesn't always need to be you shooting for the client. It doesn't always need to be you doing absolutely everything for the client, but you coming alongside them and teaching them a strategy and maybe helping out with some portions of it that will just get them to the outcome. Meaning, this means you don't need to go on every single shoot, meaning you don't have to only work with people that live within 20 miles of your driving distance. And you can scale something nationally if you focus on that, which is focus on the outcome and realizing there's more ways than one to actually get to the outcome. And that is the creative partner model. In short, it's the done with you type of vibe.
Yeah, I also think as well that it's like beneficial for both sides in the sense that like you're empowering the client a lot more. Like you're giving them, this is why I feel like super passionate about Agency U. It's because like when you have like a done with you model, it's almost like you're really like not just giving them everything that they need. You said like the strategy and then like other components, but you're also like giving them like a skill set and like knowledge and experience from you to them. Like basically like you could do like the done for you service, which is like incredibly valuable, like incredibly needed and in demand. But there is also the done with you model where you can like deliver the same outcome, right? It's like still the same thing that happens, except like I think my personal opinion is like you'll actually give a lot more value because then now they have something that will just run without you and they'll become, yeah, like they'll have something that will just run for a very long time.
So I think a really good example is Vanessa and Trey. They just closed like a $12,000 deal. And Vanessa is pregnant. Oh, I'm sorry. She just had her second kid. They don't want to be tied down to having to shoot all the time because they want to spend time with their family. They feel bogged down shooting. And what we came up with them was an offer that did not require them to be on location to shoot the videos. And the offer is for real estate investors. And that's the other thing. It's like videographers, like we're not just videographers. We need to be marketers, and we need to figure out what can we do in addition to videos that's actually going to get our clients the outcome. So what we helped them formulate was an offer that includes the strategy, gives them like content that they need to shoot. They shoot the content. Vanessa's team's going to edit it. Vanessa's team's going to post it. Vanessa and Trey's team, they're going to set up a funnel for them. And then with that, it's going to get them the result of more deals. Okay. So the video is actually just like a very small piece of it that isn't actually what is going to be the X factor getting the results. So now Vanessa and Trey, they have more time at home with their freaking newborn and their kids and don't need to fly around or spend a bunch of time like shooting and getting bogged down and dealing with all that stuff. And it puts a little bit more of responsibility on the client to getting them to the results. And now they are bought into the vision and what they need to do in order to actually get to that type of result. So I think that's a recent example. And another one is Dylan, who just closed another massive deal. So it's happening. Like people are doing it and they're positioned so well.
I think that's an important point that you just mentioned, because it's like in any industry, I've noticed that with like our clients along the years, like kind of our, in any industry that you look at, like the top performers there always have like the most skill sets. Like they don't just like do their like thing. Like for example, in this case, it would be like being really good at videography, but they also have like other skill sets on top of that, which would be like marketing, right? Or like systems is one that we talk about, like team building, all of these things. So it's kind of like, yeah, one of the things that I've noticed that you just like brought up that made me like reminded me of that is just like thinking like a marketer, and then that'll allow you to like scale, like much faster, like having multiple skill sets. So that's good.
Yeah.
Who would you say that this is for? Because I think that's one of like the most common things, like one of the most common questions that Eric gets. Eric is our Flame Insider.
Nice.
That he gets when like people ask about this, like about the partner model. Like who would you say this is like for? Because like we have some agencies that might say like, well, I don't know if this will work for my industry. Like, oh, I don't know if it'll work for this. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say this is like the creative partner model is really a fit for an agency who has experience like working with a specific client and getting them a result, essentially, or working with a specific avatar. And what they can do, because what they've been able to do is they've been able to define a roadmap to get to the outcome. And what they need to do is they just need to define the roadmap and really like for like a video agency example is define the roadmap and then either teach the roadmap or have some parts of it being like the done for you, but define the roadmap really well, give like share information, share tactics, share course material on how they can get to the outcome, go alongside them. Maybe there's some portions of the done for you, but really you're just road mapping your offer, which is productizing your offer. So I think that's the one person that it's really like really well for is somebody who has proven results in the industry and industry knowledge and can teach people what they've been able to do. But I also think it's for people who like want to become, I guess it's more so for more of the experienced crowd versus like a beginner, because it'd be very hard for them to have conviction on it.
Yeah. I think
Do you
too,
agree?
it's like those who have experience, like what I'm thinking about is like the video agencies that are experienced and like want their profit margins aren't where they want it to be. That's like a very common thing with like video agencies that are already established, is like they don't
Yeah.
have the profit margins that they want, and it's definitely not the ones that they had once they were doing like 10K a month, 20K a month, 30, 40 or whatever. So I would say it's for them as
That's
well,
it. Yes. Yeah.
because for my agency, like we implemented the done with you like right around like we were at like 80K per month. And that made like a huge difference in increasing profit margins. Because like as you scale up your team, especially if it's a done for you, like you got more clients, you have more overhead, like more costs that accumulate like on all like sides. And so what you want to have is something that you can like be able to scale with, right? Because like there will be like an eventual point where like if you keep scaling with that like structure that you had at 20K a month, 10K a month, like it will have its limits. But
Yeah.
this will allow you to like just free up, number one, a lot of your time is like one, and then just be able to keep more and like work less,
Yeah.
which is, yeah, I think what a lot of like established video agencies and just agencies in general
Yeah. I
want.
think it's the location thing too, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you're bogged down shooting every single thing for your client, like it does not have to be that way, guys. Like it does not have to be that way. And your radius is so small shooting, right? So, but it's like if you can expand your offering, you can offer the creative partner model to people. Now your audience just 100x'd,
100%. Yeah, it gives you time to be able to travel, put time into your passions,
Totally.
have more time for your family. I know that's a big one with like agency people. Spend time with your family, your wife, your kids,
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So, and that is also huge from a marketing perspective. Like if you can go from like targeting, as an example, real estate investors in LA to real estate investors in all of the United States, like now it's, now you
Totally.
have like way more room to scale. And for this to be, because at 10K a month, like that's fine or whatever, right? Like you don't really need that much big kind of audience, but as you scale and you have a niche, like you need that bigger audience size.
Facts. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say kind of like on who it would be for? Like we talked about people who want like more location freedom, time freedom, higher profits, more experienced. Anything else that comes to
Yeah.
mind?
From like a desire perspective or from like a pain perspective, would you think?
Both. Either
Yeah.
one. Like,
I think it's like the desire of not being like on a leash to a client and local from like a video perspective, because that's what oftentimes it can feel like. Like I would say even Braintegic, it was a challenge for me to move to San Diego because I had so many ties and Sabrina really wanted to move to San Diego. And it was very hard to see that vision. And I think a lot of video agencies themselves see themselves living a nomadic life and they want that, but there's just no chance that they can do it. And this to me is the ticket to building something like that.
yeah. Thankfully, like for my agency, like it wasn't set up that way. Like
Totally.
it's more of like a lead gen agency, but like I can tell you to the person who's wanting more profits and more time and location freedom, it's an incredible experience to be able to like not like, for example, like when I went to like Europe for the first time, and that was like I took it like entire 2 weeks off, like not even touching the agency at all.
Mhm.
And it was like one of the best feelings ever. Like literally it
Totally.
was like that was the first time, like nothing like the first time of like being able to do that where you just like remember it. And it was such a like liberating thing where it's like I'm tied to like nothing. Like I'm
Mhm.
not tied to any location. Like the business runs without me. Like I could literally like not contact them on Slack and everything will be fine. We're going
Totally.
to get more clients,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So for those of you listening, like know that it's completely possible. Like if
Yeah.
you've already have the experience doing it already, you can leverage that experience to be able to increase your profits, work less, and you'll remember me
Yeah.
when you have that first experience of just being able to leave your home wherever you
Totally.
are right now or
Yeah.
go on a vacation for a long time.
Yeah. Or make money without having to feel like you need to do absolutely everything and like drain your energy and yeah. So
Yeah.
which
I think that's like that one
wow.
was like the equivalent of like first internet money, like when like
Yeah.
first like client that ever paid me, like I'll never forget that. But then the other one was like first one where it's like the business runs like completely
Totally.
without me. Those are big milestones, I
Yeah.
think, for any business.
I think taking a week off without logging in is a huge thing for sure.
100%. How does it work? Like, can you outline for people so they kind of already know a little bit about kind of the overview, like the done with you model, like that we call like the creative partner model, but like how does it actually work? Like in terms of how you like make it happen? What
Yeah.
tell us a bit more.
Yeah, I think it starts with the offer, right? So ensuring that the offer is based on a clear outcome. And what we know about businesses, you and I, Gilberto, is that like our offer just needs to get a client from their current state, their current situation, their current pain to their desired outcome. Okay. So what we need to make sure is that we have the offer that's in fact doing that. And for many, like they might already have an offer that is quote unquote doing it, that's done for you. Okay. So now what you're doing is you're doing the strategy, you're doing the shooting, you're doing the editing, you're doing the posting, you're doing the appointment setting for them, you're running their ads, whatever it could be. Okay. So a lot of times in the video space, like what we need to do is we need to one, like look over the offer and make sure that it is in fact like highest perception of value to the clients and highest perception that they're going to actually get a result from our offer, like that's step number one, is to make sure that it does that. If not, then we need to stack on some more stuff, which we often do with a lot of agencies, is teach them marketing so that they can offer it to their clients. But then it's like oftentimes what we see is as agencies is, okay, I'm going to do everything for my client because I need to keep them satisfied. Okay. But instead we look at this and we say, cool, what can I teach? And then what do I need to do? Or can I teach everything? Or can I teach parts of this and then do some of it? And will it still get our clients to the result if they are executing, they're accountable to what they need to do versus what we're going to do for them? So like Dylan, for example, like he just got that, like, I don't know, like $20,000 deal, and he lives in California and the deal is in Florida. He's hella nervous to close the deal, but now he literally just 50x his reach because the client is super pumped. The client feels accountable. Dylan did a good job of setting expectations of, hey, we need this from you in order to get us to that outcome that we've been talking about this whole time. And now Dylan is not shooting. He's not going out and like dealing with all that stuff. He's just doing parts of it. And then the client is accountable to the parts that they need in order to be successful. Appointment setting, shooting the videos, sending the videos to Dylan, collaborating on that, and making it more of a team partner model that does one thing, which is get them to the result that we're hoping to get them to. And if we
Yeah,
check
I
all the
think,
boxes to getting them there, then we should be good.
yeah. Yeah, to add on to that, like I think there are a lot of like boxes to check off because it kind of almost requires like a mindset shift on like how you view your business and what you do and like how you provide value. And I think a lot of like it's kind of like tied to like kind of still like the freelance kind of videographer, like a freelance mindset, right? It's like, yeah, like the client is coming to me, like they have certain things that they want done, and I'm just taking the order and I'm going in and like delivering on these things that they requested. So it's tied to like the doing, right? But then once you get like the experience, you kind of like you grow in business and you realize like there are other forms of getting that same outcome. And then it also it requires another kind of skill set, which is like understanding marketing and also sales, because a big part of like them actually like moving forward with this is you like properly communicating the value of it, right? Because if you have like a freelancer, right, that's mostly like used to like the client coming to them from a referral and they already know what they want, it's just a matter of like kind of just telling them the
Yeah.
price and like building rapport. Then under that skill set, like it's going to be very hard to do like the creative partner model. So it like it requires a bit more skill in like being able to market it correctly and then be able to sell it correctly, right? Communicating value
Yeah.
essentially is like the big part
Yeah, because if
for
you're just
making it work.
if you're just positioning yourself as a videographer, then people are going to go to you for videography. Versus if you're positioning yourself as what you're just saying is like the outcome, then people are going to come to you for the outcome, and they don't care if you do a freaking video for them or not. They just want to get the outcome that you're communicating. And I think the other thing it's like that a lot of agencies struggle with is just the insecurity factor and like the mindset stuff, because they feel insecure that they can actually get the client to the result. So they fear doing that. And I think it is a mindset stuff. And I think that's why the value of like having coaches and having people speaking into you and like pumping you up and giving you the confidence and the frameworks in order to actually get there will help you. And like, I was the same way. Like, that's how Agency U was birthed. You know, it was like someone said, like, this should be something that you consider doing. And it was like, why would anybody listen to me? How do I do that? And then it was like kind of birthed from that. And then you start seeing it yourself. And I think that's what
Yeah.
mentorship or like having someone coach you through something like this will really help you achieve for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like actually a situation like that happened yesterday. Me and Matt, one of the coaches inside of Agency U, we
Yeah.
were talking to Alex, and yeah, for him, it was, one of the things we kind of talked with him about is kind of like his conviction on the call, right?
Mm.
And like a large part in like getting that conviction is like someone like showing you like where you don't see the value already and like what you provide and what you offer. And then the other one is just like borrowing that confidence from someone that's already been like ahead of the path. Because
Mm.
like if you don't have it, like if you don't, like you're just not able to muster up that conviction and confidence in yourself and what you do, like just borrow it from
Totally.
someone else. Like that's
Yeah.
what I've done many times, like in these mentorships that I've had when I grew my agency. It's like I didn't really, especially the first one, I didn't really like truly like have that much confidence. All right, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I just fully trusted in
Mhm.
like, I mean, the mentor that I worked with, and just followed the process, and like lo and behold, like it actually worked. And then the conviction was there, right? But it initially was shaky, and then I started seeing the evidence for it, right? And once your like eyes start to see the evidence for it, you see like the full conviction, and you
Good,
you don't waver. But
good.
that first part is going to be just like borrowing that confidence from someone who's just already, it's part of like their normal like existence, right? Like to
Totally.
them it's just like, yeah, this 15K,
Great
of
part of all.
course.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, exactly. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a big part of it is, yeah, sometimes it's the intangible stuff. We could give someone like all of the deliverables like for doing the creative partner model and like exactly how to pitch it and give them the pitch decks. But if they don't have that, the intangible stuff sometimes is what makes the difference.
Facts. Agree.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, is there anyone else that comes to mind too? Like, I guess for in terms of like the creative partner model and, just kind of transformations you've seen from like video agency that
Yeah.
has started putting that into place.
I think a good example is like we mentioned, who did we mention? We mentioned Vanessa with like having kids and like they don't want to travel around all the time and they're succeeding at it. Dylan, who works with network marketers, it's like there's only so many network marketers in his area that he can actually work with. And he just closed his first deal. I think it was like $8,500 or something like that. That he's super pumped on. And he was so freaking nervous beforehand. And now he's like super hype on it. Isaac, who helps ballet schools, he has a family as well, has a wife and kids, and he's burnt out from like traveling around. And he literally travels around and shoots for clients. And he's been selling creative partner model services to ballet like people and going at it, or ballet schools essentially, and teaching them how they can shoot, film, edit, run the authority funnel, like even come up with a really stronger offer, be a marketer for these schools, to get them to the outcome where he doesn't need to shoot because the offer isn't around a video. It's around the outcome. So those are the three examples that come top of mind to me that I've just been like super hype on and like super pumped. Um,
Yeah, I think also from a marketing perspective, like no one really is doing this. Like I don't really, it's still relatively like new, especially to the like businesses. If like you bring this up, it is kind of like a new, like what I call like a new mechanism in the
yeah,
market, right? Like that in itself is like a differentiator, and it works for and like for the most like weirdest niches. I mean, we just mentioned right now like ballet studios, right?
totally.
And that right there, like, for context on Isaac, like for them, they kind of had like an objection that would come up of like, hey, like, they really only make like $200 per month for, you know, the studio that they work with. For studios in general, it's only $200 a month that they make per student on average, right? So like pricing wise, it was like a little bit difficult for them to kind of pitch like, 3 to 5K a month retainers for like, studios that only really make like $200 per month
Totally.
off of a student. But if you have like something like a done with you model, right, such as the creative partner model, then it actually makes a lot more sense. And from like an ROI perspective, it's viewed now more as an investment that they have that come in, right? Like you're kind of like putting something in place, right? Like putting in place infrastructure into the business that's going to like breed like ROI and
Totally.
new clients for as long as they have this setup. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just a freaking video. It's helping them with the offer. It's he's a marketer now and he's like invested into their businesses. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting thing. And I think it's we're probably going to see more of it as we like at least the people who take advantage of it are the ones who, in my opinion, are the ones who are going to be the most successful. Even there was like a study done last year on agencies with the highest profit margins and are those that are offering consulting. And this is pretty much what we're doing is we're offering consulting. In one of the other stats is like leveraging offshore talent. But I think it's if you be a strategist, if you be a marketer, if that's your core focus and you learn to monetize it through a creative partner model, then that's how you're going to win as an agency, be seen as an authority, and scale and grow healthily. Healthily is the key. Um, so
Absolutely. Yeah. definitely like helpful for those that are like scaling right now. Like if you're at 50K a month or 100K a month and you're only seeing like 10K a month off of that, the same as when you were like doing 15K a month as an agency, like
Mhm.
this is definitely a route to consider because that's not a spot where you want to be in where you're like doing 10% profit margins, yet you have the stress of an 80 to 100K a month agency.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Big time. I think it's a massive opportunity for those, especially video agencies, man.
Yeah, and video. So for context, like in the lead gen space, like this is something that like more agencies are using. Like for me, like we've been pretty much doing that since like 2021. And that's pretty much like been huge for us. But that was already something that was already like pretty like talked about in the lead gen space. For video though, like that's not really something
Mhm.
that's like it's fairly new, right? So if you're like listening to this, you're a video agency, like you could be you're not gonna have any competition
Yeah.
really for this,
Yeah.
especially if you're in a competitive niche where there's a lot of people like going after like the same thing, going after like the same target market. Something like this is gonna be new for the prospects, and you kind of create almost like a like you like your own realm where there is no competition because there is nothing to compare it to. You are no longer a commodity, and when you are no longer a commodity, that's how you know like you have really solid marketing in place.
Facts. And I think for the people listening who are like, oh my gosh, I have no experience. How do I start offering this? Is be a marketer, not a videographer. Be a marketer, like, not an ads manager. Be a marketer, not a video editor, and learn what outcomes that you can provide and what solutions you can provide for people and get really freaking good at that.
Absolutely. Start looking at problems and solutions, not
100%.
deliverables and features.
Totally. That's a race to the bottom.
100%. Yeah, you always want to be the one that's like going and providing the most value, not necessarily the one that's kind of like getting like cutting people on cost. Like that's not like Austin said, that's just like the fastest race to the bottom.
Mhm.
And it doesn't really require like a whole lot of skill to do that. You just need to like cut price. You want to go in there and
Totally.
provide like the most value. And that's how you're going to get actually like the best clients, right? Like the best clients are going to come from, they're going to be looking for solutions like this, like the
Facts.
done with you model.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's the move.
Cool. I think that's a good one to conclude this video on.
Let's go. So guys, if you are a video agency and you want to learn more about how to do the creative agents or the creative partner model inside of your agency, DM us the word YT and we'll send you over a free training on and we'll break everything down for you inside of that training. So just DM us the word YT and we'll send you a free training on how you can learn more.